Rockin 101 and 660 AM St. Cloud's at Best Rock, and we've got Geezer Butler from GZR and formerly of Black Sabbath on the phone with us. Geezer, where are you calling from today?
How are you?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm fine, thanks.
Can I ask where you're calling from today?
Los Angeles.
Oh, I take it. Are you guys performing out there with Ozzy tonight, or?
Yeah, we're doing a gig at the Palladium tonight.
Oh, okay. Let's see. First question I had for you. You've got your new project GZR out now with the album Plastic Planet. I was just wondering, how did this side project come about?
Well, it's something that I've always wanted to do. It's been an ambition of mine to do a solo project. And last year when I left Sabbath, I was just had lots and lots of stuff written, and I just thought it was the right time to do it.
Oh, okay. We've been playing the track The Invisible from Mortal Kombat, and you got to say the band really sounds hot. You guys sound like you really got it together. And I was just wondering, by the way, who are some of the other band members? I know one of them is the singer from Fear Factory.
Yeah, this is Burton C. Bell from Fear Factory. There's Dean Castronovo, who I'd met when I was recording the Ozzy album. He was the drummer on the Ozzy's new album. And then there's Pedro House. He's a guy that I've known for years in England. I used to jam with his band back in England, and we've been writing together for about 10 years now. And so between us, we came up with all the music for this album.
Okay, so this project was just something that kind of happened naturally then? You guys were writing material and you just said, hey, why don't we put out an album, or?
Yeah, I just called him up last summer when I was on tour with Sabbath, and I knew I was leaving Sabbath because I wasn't really into that anymore. And I called him. I says, it's the time, let's do an album. We got together last September as soon as I'd finished the tour, and went from there.
Oh, okay. And next question was, I was wondering, how did you settle on the name GZR for the band? I mean, I know it's somewhat your initials, your name being Geezer and whatnot, but I was just wondering, how did you pick that for the band name?
Well, the American record company TV2 wanted the band to be called Geezer, or Geezer Butler, but the English company wanted it to be more of a band sounding name, so we compromised and came up with GZR.
Oh, okay, so it kind of gets that name recognition thing from your past work, plus it's something new.
Yeah.
And
it's a bit confusing though, actually, because people have been asking for Geezer Butler or Geezer's new album, and the record shops don't know what they're talking about, so it's going to take time for people to know what to ask for.
Yeah, I suppose. I was wondering, and like I mentioned before, I know you're on tour with Ozzy right now. How is the Osmosis tour going so far?
It was going all right, and then Ozzy got bronchitis last week, so we had to pull some gigs and then reschedule them. And so apart from that, it's been going great.
And let's see here, how did you end up working with Ozzy again? I know you've worked with him on and off, obviously, the Sabbath days, and then the Live Aid reunion, and then you did the No Rest for the Wicked tour, I believe it was, back in '88, and now you're back with him. How did that come about?
I went down to his house last year, and he was playing me the demos of his new album, because he'd written about 25, 26 songs for his new album, and he'd been working with about six different bass players, and he asked me, he wanted to obviously work with just one when he finally recorded the album, and he asked me if I'd be interested in doing it, and at the time I was still looking around for a singer and a drummer for my band, and I said, yeah, I'll do it. So I put the bass down, and that's where I met the drummer.
Oh, okay. And that kind of leads into my next question. I was wondering, do you ever possibly foresee yourself ever working with either Tony Iommi and or possibly Ronnie James Dio again in the future?
No, I'm just going to concentrate on the GZR thing from now on.
Oh, okay. And where did your album title, Plastic Planet, come from for the GZR album?
It's the title of one of the songs on the album, and it just seemed to sum up the mood of the whole album. Originally we were going to call it Giving Up the Ghost, but we thought it was maybe a bit too negative, so we went with Plastic Planet.
Oh, okay. And considering that this is kind of a side project for you guys and the other band members, do you think there will be a second GZR album possibly in the future, or are you just kind of taking it as it comes, or?
Oh, no, absolutely. Now that I've done it, it's what I want to do full time now. As soon as I finish with the Aussie tour, I'll be going on tour with GZR, and then we'll have to work around Fear Factory, obviously. But then in future, it's going to be a full-time band. Maybe not with the same singer, obviously, but I'll go try and look for another singer, and then the next album will be a tour I'll be doing all the time.
Oh, okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, that definitely does make sense. Like you said, sometimes side projects are, hard things to keep going because, people have, other schedules and priorities and whatnot.
Yeah, well, I enjoyed doing it so much. It was like the most enjoyable time I've ever had doing an album, and I just I love it, so yeah, that's what I want to do.
Oh, okay. And could you tell us about the song from the Mortal Kombat soundtrack, The Invisible? That's the one that we've been playing here quite a bit on the Aggression Show at Rockin 101. I was reading the lyrics to it in the bio that your record company sent me the other day, and it seems like not just this song, but a lot of the songs focus on, like, society's ills and whatnot and stuff going on in the streets of America and England and stuff right now. Could you tell us a little bit about the lyrics to that tune?
Well, The Invisible originally was inspired when I was doing the Aussies album in New York, and I spent about 6 weeks in New York, and I don't live in a big city in England, so I sort of wasn't used to all these homeless people on the streets, and nobody seemed to notice them. It was as if the people were just like stepping over them or walking by them, as if they were invisible, and so I took that as the basis for the song, and then I just sort of expanded on like all the sides of people's lives that they don't want you to see. Like I was saying it about the battered wives and just stuff like, the secret sides of people's lives that they like to keep hidden from everybody. So it's called it The Invisible.
And that brings one last question in addition to that to mind. I saw Ozzy's Don't Blame Me videotape, and he's talking about when you guys formed the band, how Birmingham, England at the time, back in the late 60s, was worlds away from, say, Southern California and that type of culture. Do you think that some of the stuff that goes on in England, some of the negative stuff, is worse or equal to what goes on in America?
I think all violence is horrible, no matter where it's happening. It's just, I think if guns were available in England, it would probably be just as bad, if not worse, than America.
Yeah, I was reading, in fact, an interview where Ozzy talked about the same thing, and he said that he apparently had sold his house in California or something like that because he felt it was just too dangerous for his kids because they had to go to school with metal detectors and stuff here.
It's ridiculous that it's got to that now, and nobody's doing anything about it. And it can be done, as it is in England, just keeping guns out of people's hands. But, there's other forms of violence, as you can see in England any day now. It's just like one-on-one, beating people up and stabbings and all that. So even in a country without guns, you still get the violence. It's just that you don't get as many murders, obviously, because there's not the availability of the guns there.
Do you feel that
it's a sad situation that society's got itself in?
Do you feel that type of culture contributes to the type of heavy music that you guys have played over the years, or?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just we just did it because it's just I don't know. It's like an unseen driving force behind the stuff that we wrote when we got together.
Oh, okay. Well, I gotta thank you for taking the time to call us and talk to us for a few minutes, Geezer.
Okay.
Good luck on the road, and hopefully we'll be seeing you up here with either Fear Factory or possibly Ozzy later in the winter or early in the spring sometime. We're in Minnesota up here, so we're looking forward to seeing you guys.
Right.
Anything else that you wanted to say to the listeners one final time?
I just hope you like my album.
All right, thanks. And speaking of the album, here's something by GZR. It's The Invisible on Aggression, Rock's Heavier Edge, and Rockin' 101.